Also tonight on TV47, we pull back the curtain on a hidden war waged in the shadows. In this exclusive report, we take you deep inside the secretive world of Kenya's elite Special Operations Group, SOG, a unit forged by the National Intelligence Service. Trained with precision and shrouded in secrecy, the elite warriors have taken the fight directly to the terrorists and bandits, striking with devastating impact. Now, for the first time ever, we offer a rare glimpse into their recruitment training and high-risk missions. TV47's Sidney Chazima brings you an exclusive look inside Kenya's relentless war on terror and banditry.
For years, they have operated in the shadows, unseen, unheard, but always there. They are Kenya's last line of defense against religious extremism and banditry. The National Intelligence-led Special Operations Group, the SOG. Forged in secrecy, trained for precision, and deployed with deadly intent, this elite unit has waged a hidden war against the most dangerous terror threat on our soil, the Shabaab. For the first time ever, Kenyans will witness what has remained off limits until now. This is the untold story of Kenya's elite warriors. My name is Sidney Chazima, and the Shadows of Valour begins now. Kenya's encounter with terrorism began after the first major blow came on August 7, 1998, when Al-Qaeda orchestrated a devastating attack on the US Embassy in Nairobi. This tragedy marked Kenya's entry into the complex world of international terrorism, exposing vulnerabilities in its security apparatus. The rise of Al-Shabaab, a Somalia-based militant group with ties to Al-Qaeda, brought a new chapter of violence. Kenya's decision to deploy troops to Somalia in 2011 under the Operation Linda Inchi aimed to curb the group's cross-border incursions, but it came at a cost. In September 2013, Al-Shabaab struck Nairobi's Westgate Mall, with the siege leaving 68 people dead and several hundreds wounded. The 2015 Garissa University attack, which claimed 148 lives, mostly students, was equally a stark reminder of the group's brutality. Since then, Kenya, through intelligence-led efforts by the National Intelligence Service (NIS), has fought back, strengthening its security forces, enhancing regional cooperation, and investing in counter-terrorism. Our journey towards understanding the role of NIS in counter-terrorism efforts takes us to an undisclosed location deep in the heart of an arid county of Kenya. In the blistering heat of Kenya's arid terrain, a storm is brewing. Not of chaos, but of precision. Here, in undisclosed locations, Kenya's elite Special Operations Group, the SOG, is sharpening the spear of intelligence-led warfare. In the course of this story, some keywords will stand out. One is intelligence-led war against terror and banditry. And two, the word SOG. We begin with the latter. The Special Operations Group is an elite unit formed by the National Intelligence Service. It is a highly trained force specializing in high-stakes operations against terrorism and banditry. To make the cut as an SOG operative, one has to undergo rigorous physical routines that encompass drills, push-ups, and other exercises to build stamina, strength, endurance, and discipline. Other than physical routines, an SOG operative will go through arms exercises. Here, recruits are trained and equipped with capabilities in the art of stealth.
Recorder number 1.
And combined warfare, often incorporating live fire scenarios. For example, this 3D training facility ensures that an SOG operative acquires the skills to shoot in 3 different directions while in motion. In case of an ambush in a conflict zone, a quick reaction force of operatives is equally trained to tactically combat and rescue their colleagues. Operatives can also specialize in marksmanship through the use of specialized high-precision rifles for long-range shooting, or what you know as a sniper. At this undisclosed training school, SOG operatives are trained on how to handle several weapons, ranging from the 12.7mm Dushka machine gun that is essential for ground targets, the deadly 23mm Zoo gun that is critical when engaging low-flying targets at a range of 2.5 kilometers, as well as armored vehicles that are within the range of 2 kilometers, among other highly sophisticated weapons. From the gun handling and drills, SOG operatives also simulate situations where they have to neutralize high-value human targets from extremely dangerous locations. And here, we are made to understand that failing to plan is planning to fail.
During the planning process, the making of a tentative plan is the most important part. That ensures that you have to make sure that you analyze all the 7 parameters that include the mission. You have to analyze your mission, your men, the critical commanders and the combat leaders in that operation. They must understand the mission and they must know their role in the plan.
As part of the planning, SOG operatives are made to understand the high-value target's location through surveillance photography and conducting a reconnaissance.
If you look here, is a blueprint of that building, the compound of this objective golf. They are going to be conducting a raid in this location, and then they are going to be picking the enemy high-value target. We have now breached the door.
Al-Shabaab operatives are synonymous with improvised explosive devices that they plant on routes plied by locals and sometimes SOG operatives.
Another one, it's here. This is a bra. It is bra. So you see a beautiful lady walking somewhere. So wearing bra.
To counter this, SOG operatives are trained on how the explosives are assembled and ways to avoid or defuse them.
The switch does a complete IED. When you press here, you are dead. These are ball bearing. If each one get one of these, you are dead. And one.
In the chaos of war, every moment is seconds away from danger. Combat situations expose operatives to risks beyond enemy fire, shrapnel and explosions that can turn any mission deadly in an instant.
This person maybe he was armed or he had communication gadget.
To prepare for these high-stakes realities, SOG operatives undergo rigorous medical training.
Broken bones.
From the basic first aid to advanced trauma care.
Secure his leg. Then after doing that, I will check if he is hurt at the back.
Operatives learn to stabilize their wounded brothers and sisters in arms. There is a lot more detail that goes on into the training of a fully fledged SOG operative. And from this undisclosed training school, operatives are then deployed to various locations within and along the borders of Kenya. This is where the second common word in this story, intelligence-led operations, becomes very prominent. From the undisclosed training school, an SOG operative will land at a forward operating base, FOB. The SOG have set up several FOBs in the country. They include Kotulo, Ijara, Masalani, Hulugo, Gasereb and Ishakani. These bases are not just military-like installations. They are launch pads that the NIS has equipped with modern warfare systems and weapons. In the nerve center of each base, an SOG operative will put to use their skills in mission control.
They are in patrol and then...
Here, the use of intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance (ISR) is key in collecting information. Images and videos gathered from the skies are essential in tracking enemy movements without detection. But technology alone doesn't win this kind of war. An SOG operative will rely equally on human intelligence. This is achieved through community social responsibility initiatives and operatives embedding themselves in the community. Deep in the villages along the Lamu-Minjila road, we meet this man known to locals as Mshike Mshike, who tells us he is a reformed illegal game hunter.
Mshike Mshike ni jina ambalo limetokana na shughuli zangu mwenyewe. So shughuli zangu zilikuwa za msituni. So naweza sema mimi nilikuwa mwindaji. Lakini kutoka SOG wakuje niliondokea hiyo story.
Unawinda nini?
Wanyama. Nilikuwa nawinda wanyama kama viboko, nyati vile. Ndio ambao nilikuwa nashughulikia. Lakini sasa jamaa tangu wakuje wakanikuta huko ndani, tukatoana huko. So wakanifanya nikakuwa mtu mpoa.
Mshike Mshike is one of the many faces of the impact of the CSR initiatives by the SOG group. CSR initiatives like providing clean water, food supplies and medical aid are not just relief efforts. They are bridges.
The community shares information freely, knowing that special operation group are friendly people. As you can see here, even we cross the border, these are the foods we feed them.
Through this, an operative drinks from the same cup, speaks the local dialects, and earns trust with locals.
Hapo nyuma mimi na askari tulikuwa ni watu watuelewani, hatukaribiani. Lakini kufikia sasa, unaona mimi na askari na watu tunakaa pamoja, tunatembea pamoja, tunakula. Lakini zamani ilikuwa haiwezekani.
Wakati iko sasa iko hapa ilikuwa kuja hapa. Ilikuwa kama kiasi ya binadamu tumeteseka sana. Mvugo unaibiwa. na hapatikani tena. Gari inapigwa na watu hapatikani tena.
This is the Shakani village right here on the border between Kenya and Somalia, which is approximately 5 kilometers to Somalia. And according to locals here, this area was inhabitable due to the insurgents of the Al-Shabaab.
Ikifika saa 11 ilikuwa tuko majumbani, hakuna ruhusa kutoka. Lakini sasa hivi waweza kukaa nje mpaka saa 7 saa 8. Ile time unaojisikia tu wewe mwenyewe nikae nje utakaa. Na ilikuwa time yetu ikifika saa 11 jifungie ndani.
Through casual conversations, marketplace whispers and shared burdens.
Niliwahi kufika Lamu, nilikuwa mgonjwa, nilikuwa na uvimbe kwa kichwa. Lakini ile bei ile niliambiwa nilishindwa kujitibu. Na mimi mwenyewe ni maskini. Lakini nimeshukuru kwa upande wa matibabu, nashukuru timu ilijitolea ikanisaidia. Ikanifanyia operation ndogo na nimesaidika.
Sisi uchumi wetu ni bahari. Kama siku hakuna masoko tumekaa kama mwezi wiki mbili wao watusaidia. Tuaenda tuavua, tuwapa wao mazao, tuwapata kipato pia kutokana na kwao. Wanunue ile biashara yetu.
An SOG operative will extract crucial information. Who's new in the village? Who's disappeared into the forest? Who's carrying more than just water on their donkey?
Saizi tunamulika zaidi kwa sababu chochote kile ni lazima. Manake zamani na sasa ni tofauti. Zamani unajua mtu anaweza kwenda mali yoyote, mtu anaweza kutoka, ilikuwa hakuna kuangalia zaidi. So mtu akiwa ni mgeni tu utamuona, utamuelewa. Ama kama mtu pia hayuko sawa, ni mtu ukimtazama tu utamjua tu huyu mtu hayuko sawa. Wewe unaelewa kabisa kwamba mtu kama ana mashaka, anajishuku, ukimuona tu utamjua.
When the intel is solid, the response is swift. Teams mobilize from the forward bases, slipping into the forest with surgical precision. It is a race. Speed and accuracy decide who lives to fight another day. Their targets: Al-Shabaab militants, bandits, weapon caches and crossing points used to smuggle fighters across the border and main supply routes. This is the Lamu-Minjila highway, which according to locals and security agencies used to be impassable in the several years before because of the constant attacks from the Al-Shabaab insurgents.
Wewe ukitaka kwenda njia ya Minjila, wewe uko na wasiwasi. Hajui kama utafika huko.
Right here we are with the intelligence-led security officers who are about to give us a simulation of how the Al-Shabaab attacks used to happen on this highway and thus disrupting the activities and making it impassable. So at this moment, the security officers have been alerted of the attack and the Al-Shabaab insurgents are making their way out of the bush. This intelligence-led effort by the SOG along the Lamu-Minjila main supply route, Al-Shabaab attacks are now a thing of the past.
Kulingana na hali vile ya usalama vile imekuwa kidogo, naona imearika ukilinganisha na hapo nyuma. Watu walikuwa wakivamiwa na hata mimi nimekuwa na ujasiri, nimetoka Mombasa nikaenda Lamu.
Since the establishment of this camp in 2018, the attacks are very minimal, and just as I told you, we have the static observation posts, whereby our teams are along this main supply route. So the attacks right now are very minimal.
Intelligence-led efforts are not just focused on internal insurgencies. Through a collaboration with Jubilant forces from Somalia, the SOG group is keen on driving the threat of the Al-Shabaab as far away as possible from the Kenyan border. This is border post 29 at Ras Kamboni, and these concrete walls behind me demarcate the difference between Kenya and Somalia. And according to the Special Operations Group, the security between the two borders is paramount.
Tukipata information ya adui wote tunaenda pamoja na tunapatia support. Jirani wetu wa Kenya wanafanya kazi na pamoja na sisi vizuri.
SOG operatives don't just thrive on dry land, but also the vast volatile waters of the Indian Ocean. Driven by real-time intelligence, these elite teams are the silent guardians of the Lamu Port, South Sudan-Ethiopia transport corridor, the LAPSET. They operate at the intersection of counter-terrorism and maritime security, intercepting threats long before they reach shore. In the war against terrorism and banditry, silence is often louder than gunfire. For years, Kenyans lived with the dread of sudden attacks, buses bombed, schools targeted, and roads turned into corridors of fear. But today, from the forests of Boni to the trading centers in Mandera, from the hills of Elgeyo to the shores of Ishakani, that fear has begun to fade. According to data from the NIS, in the past 3 years, terror-related attacks have dropped by 67%, and banditry incidents in the North Rift have reduced by over 60%. Over 120 coordinated terror plots have been intercepted, and several weapons have been recovered. But behind these numbers lies a pain point for the intelligence-led efforts. NIS Director General Nurdin Haji has been candid about the resource constraints facing the intelligence-led war. According to the NIS boss, the agency was allocated 51 billion shillings in the 2021-2025 financial year, a figure which was 14 billion shillings less than what NIS requested. Still, these men and women move forward, and for the millions of Kenyans whose lives they safeguard, their silent service is the reason a child can walk to school, a bus can reach its destination, and a market can thrive again. And while the world may never know their names or see their faces, every day Kenyans will live freely because the shadows never sleep. My name is Sidney Chazima, and you have been watching The Shadows of Valour on TV 47.